If you own a Mercedes Sprinter and you've experienced the dreaded countdown mode where it gives you so many starts remaining, chances are the reason is something related to this system right here, and that is the Mercedes emissions control system. This system is pretty complex, and there are a lot of different components that comprise the system. Today we're going to just do a quick overview of some of the major components, how they affect each other, how they affect the operation of the van, why they're there in your van in the first place, and some of the common problems that you may experience as a Sprinter owner. All right, many of you who own a Mercedes Sprinter know some of the common buzzwords in the industry: SCR, DPF, DEF, all these different phrases, EGR, things like that. You've all heard them. You've seen them on the forums. You've seen people talking about cleaning their EGR valve, cleaning their DPF. There's a lot of nomenclature out there associated with the system, and there's also a lot of misinformation. So I want to clear up some of the common misconceptions when it comes to the diesel emission system on the Mercedes Sprinter. Why some of these things are problematic, why they're there in the first place, how they operate, and just some tips that you guys can use moving forward when it comes to maintaining your Sprinter and keeping an eye out for some of these issues. So the emission system is pretty complex. There's a lot of different components, like I mentioned earlier. Essentially, we can break it down into kind of three different major component groups. You have your EGR, which stands for exhaust gas recirculation. We have your DPF, which is diesel particulate filter. That's this beautiful piece right here. And then you have your SCR, or selective catalytic reduction, which is further downstream in the exhaust. So I'm gonna talk about each one of these different systems separately and then kind of tie it all together so you get a good understanding of how the entire emission system works. The diesel engine creates exhaust gases and soot. It also creates NOx, which we reduce with the selective catalytic reduction. So the EGR, exhaust gas recirculation, that part of the system, which looks like this, it's an EGR valve and an EGR cooler, essentially takes hot exhaust gases that come off the back of your motor and it re-injects them into the intake of the van after running them through a cooler that has engine coolant on one side and your hot exhaust gases on the other. So essentially it's re-injecting cooled exhaust gases back into your intake to lower that intake charge temp and reduce NOx. That's reducing it before it gets to this portion of the exhaust system. So that's kind of the first stage of the diesel emission system, is the exhaust gas recirculation. The cooler, the valve, all of these components have soot running through them. Your intake manifold, the swirl flaps, all of that have soot build up in them. So these are pretty common service items. We do a lot of EGR cooler cleaning and servicing. We do a lot of valve cleaning and replacement. This is a very common part that needs serviced regularly on a Sprinter. Many of you have seen people clean the EGR valve. They say, why take it to a shop when I can just pull it out myself and clean it at home? That's great if you want to do that, but that is just a portion of the system. There is much more that lives far deeper in your engine, like the cooler here, the bypass flap, all of this that many people aren't even aware of that also needs servicing. Now we're going to move on to the DPF, which is next in line for your exhaust system. Exhaust gases come off the back of your engine, comes off the back of the turbo into a downpipe, and then it drops here into your DPF, which stands for diesel particulate filter. What this unit does is monitor and filter soot particles out of that exhaust. So it's filtering soot through a honeycomb style filter here. Exhaust gases can travel through it, but it traps soot. And this system monitors how much soot is in the filter using differential pressure sensors, one in the middle and one at the bottom of the filter. That difference in pressure from the top to the bottom tells the computer on the van how much soot is inside of this DPF. There are also temperature sensors throughout the system, NOx sensors, oxygen sensors, and of course the differential pressure sensor and back pressure sensor. So there's a lot of sensors involved when it comes to the emission system. Don't be fooled into thinking that, oh, it has to be an NOx sensor because ChatGPT told me it was. Chances are there's probably something going on that just a simple Google search is not going to resolve for you. Now, back to the DPF. Once the DPF reaches a certain concentration of soot contamination, the computer will then go into regeneration mode, which many of you have heard. You've heard my van going through regen. You've heard about manual regens. You've heard about forced regens. You've probably heard a lot about regen, but most people don't understand exactly what that is. All that means is that your particulate filter is full and the van needs to clean it. So to do that, the engine actually alters the timing of the injection of fuel into the cylinders. And it does so that it will create a hotter burn in the combustion, which increases your exhaust gas temperatures. That increased exhaust gas temperature flows directly through this filter and burns off all of that accumulated soot in the particle filter. Once the van has sensed that it's cleaned, it's gone from, say, 100% filter concentration down to 0, differential pressure sensors will sense that there is no longer a large difference in pressure from top to the bottom, and then it will end the regen cycle. So we'll go back to normal fuel injection, normal timing, and then your exhaust gas temperatures will then cool down back to the normal operating range. Most people have no idea that this is even happening when they're driving down the road, because the van doesn't tell you when it's regenning. It doesn't tell you via an alert that, hey, my filter's full and just going through regen. The Ford trucks have been doing that for years, but Mercedes doesn't do that. It just kind of does it on its own without you knowing. So that covers the DPF. EGR, it's reducing NOx early on. DPF, it's knocking the soot out of that exhaust stream. Next in the system is going to be your SCR, or selective catalytic reduction. AddBlue, Blue Tech, a lot of you have heard words like this or seen them on the model of cars that you drive. This engine is in many vans, sedans, SUVs. It's used widely across the world, and they all have a very similar variant of this system. But the selective catalytic reduction, this is where your AddBlue comes into play and where it actually cleans the exhaust gases before they leave the exhaust pipe. So this is where it's going to reduce the rest of the NOx in your exhaust gases before it exits the vehicle to make it safe, make it better for the environment, and keep everything nice and clean. The selective catalytic reduction system here comprised of an AddBlue injector nozzle, a couple of temperature sensors, NOx sensors, and of course, the SCR itself is just a portion of the system, but it's the last step in the emissions cleaning system. Based on the sensor readings of NOx as it's going through the exhaust, the SCR will inject AddBlue, or DEF, that stinky liquid that you add to your DEF tank, will inject it into the exhaust stream and reduce the NOx before it goes through the SCR. From there, it monitors it with one final NOx sensor at the exit of the SCR, and then it goes on out your exhaust pipe. I can tell you there is a very real difference between exhaust gases that have been through this entire process from EGR to DPF to SCR versus a vehicle that's just straight piped and has none of this emission system equipment on it. You can tell just in the exhaust pipe the amount of soot that's accumulated there in a vehicle that does not have an emission system versus one that does. It does make a big difference. It really does clean your exhaust gases, and it's much better for the environment. So there is a reason that these systems are in place. They're complex, but they're repairable, and if you're having issues with it, you just need to bring it to a place that knows how to work on them, and they can get you taken care of. So we've pretty much covered the general operation of the system. Now I just want to touch on a few common issues that we see here at the shop regularly, something that maybe you've experienced or have heard about or are concerned with on your vehicle. One thing that we see a lot is codes related to the EGR valve or the EGR bypass flap, or flow related codes. Those almost always relate to this system right here, EGR cooler and valve assembly. If the EGR cooler is packed with soot, which we see very, very regularly, then your EGR flow, that exhaust gas flow rate that goes through this cooler and back into your intake, will be reduced. And at a certain point, that's going to cause a check engine light, and it's going to cause problems with your emission system because it's not able to re-inject exhaust gases like it needs to. So our remedy for codes related to that, assuming it's not a mechanical part failure, is to remove the cooler and valve assembly from the vehicle. We take this all apart. We deep clean it, we remove all the soot, all the carbon buildup from all these passages. We clean the valve and service it, make sure it's functioning properly, reassemble everything and reinstall it back in the vehicle. That's super common. We see this all the time here at the shop on these diesel engines. Second thing that you might see codes for would be related to your DPF. Now the DPF is a filter, and while the van can clean this filter over time, eventually it has a service life. It's not going to last forever. Filling with soot, being clean, and filling with soot again, that cycle happening hundreds and thousands of times over the years that you own this vehicle will eventually lead to a DPF failure. It's a service item, it's a wear part, so plan on having to replace this at some point in time. We do remove these from the vehicle at times, as you can see here, and we'll actually deep clean this whole DPF. We'll use certain chemicals to flush it out and clean the carbon and soot out of it, and assuming that the elements inside are still in good condition, we can reinstall this and reuse it. But there are times when you will have to replace this entire DPF. Along with the DPF and the EGR, you have a lot of sensors that are included with the system. Back pressure sensors, temperature sensors, boost pressure sensors, NOx sensors, differential pressure sensors. Any one of those sensors going bad will throw off the values that it's giving to the computer and will cause a check engine light and or a countdown mode. So you may not have a failed DPF. It may just be an NOx sensor or an EGT sensor, something along those lines. But without getting in and getting a proper diagnostic scan with an official Zentree computer, it's really hard to know what you're working with. So those are common problems that we see here with the DPF. Other simple things that aren't necessarily related to the emission system but can happen are failed seals to your downpipe, or this flex pipe cracking and actually melting your wiring harness. Just standard, more exhaust system failures that happen with time, especially in places where there's a lot of rust and road grime and things like that. That can happen and lead to a check engine light as well. Moving on to the SCR, kind of the last piece of the puzzle here. The most common thing that we see with the SCR system is either a failed injector nozzle or a leaking AddBlue line. That AddBlue needs to be kept clean, needs to be kept full, and that whole system has a lot of checks and balances in place to make sure it's functioning properly. It has a pump internally, it has a tank heater, a line heater. There's a lot of components involved with just pumping that fluid to this injector nozzle that can fail and also lead to a check engine light and a countdown mode. Because if the van can't clean the exhaust on this final stage, it's going to tell you, hey, you need to shut this down and get to a workshop and have it fixed. So we see a lot of leaking AddBlue lines, especially on vans that are more than 6 years old. It's pretty common. Failed AddBlue line heaters, failed AddBlue pumps. Any sort of leak in the system will cause a pressure buildup failure to where it can't pressurize and can't inject that fluid. And we see a lot of times these injector nozzles, the seal will fail right here at the pipe and you'll have a big crystallized ball of DEF that's built up on there. That's super common as well. It's not as common that we see any sort of SCR failures aside from that, although it is very common to need to replace NOx sensors, EGT sensors, things like that. Those are just an electronic control module. It will wear out over time. I've seen vans that are less than a year old that have had a failed module, and then other times vans that are 15 plus years old and they're still running stock modules. So it's kind of luck of the draw there, but all of those little components can add up to a check engine light with a countdown mode that will shut you down hard and not let you go anywhere. So preventative maintenance, what can you guys do at home or on your road trips to help keep the system operating properly? Number one, use good quality DEF. Keep your DEF tank full. Don't let it run way down and empty. Just keep it topped off. That's good common practice. I like to top mine off. Anytime it gets to halfway, I just put a full box of DEF in and then I rock and roll and keep on moving. The other thing that you can do is avoid idling your van as much as possible. Idling, especially in the van world, not so much in the car space unless you're in LA or something, but in the van space, it's a real problem because everybody wants to idle their van to charge their coach batteries. That's kind of the worst thing you can do with this emission system because you're accumulating soot, but you're not going down the road at a point where the vehicle can go into a regeneration mode and actually clean this filter. So we see it all the time. The system will get loaded up with soot. It will need to regenerate. Customers won't know that the van needs to clean the DPF, and they'll shut the van off and then they'll idle it the next day and the next. And pretty soon the van will throw a check engine light and limit you on power because this DPF is way over full of soot. The EGR is packed full of soot, and the van just simply needs to get out and go down the road and get cleaned out. So idling your van, kind of the worst thing you can do to your emission system. So I highly recommend avoiding that as much as possible. If you do have to idle your van, go out and run it hard, drive it fast down the freeway, drive it hard up a hill, pull a load, just clean it out. The van wants you to run it hard like that, it will perform better, and that will help your emission system longevity for sure. The other thing that you can do is if you have codes emissions related, don't waste your time trying to unplug the negative terminal and do a hard reset like so many customers tell me they do when they come into the shop. That's not going to do anything for you except waste your time. If you have an emissions related code, so you got it read, you have your own code reader, or you went to an auto parts store and they read it, anything emissions related, get into a shop that knows Mercedes and have it taken care of, because it will shut you down hard, no go. And if that's in the middle of nowhere when you're out on a trip, it's going to be the worst case scenario. You're going to spend a lot more money on a tow bill than you would if you just went to a shop and addressed it right away. So don't ignore emission system related codes. Get them taken care of. Don't waste your time trying to clear it by recycling the power or anything like that. Unless you fix the actual issue, it's not going to go away. So get it looked at. So if you're experiencing any issues related to your diesel emission system, or you have questions on yours, you don't know if you should get it serviced, or if you might have an issue, you're just unsure, give us a call, drop a comment below, send us an email. We work on these engines and these systems all day, every day. So we see a ton of them, and they're complex, but they're completely serviceable and repairable, and we're used to seeing them here. So don't be too alarmed if this happens to you. It's very common to get check engine lights associated with this system. It's probably the #1 cause of check engine lights that I see in the Mercedes Sprinter platform, period. But there are so many different sensors and components to the system that it could be contributing to that check engine light. So don't guess, just go get it looked at and get it taken care of. If you have any questions, again, let me know. Appreciate y'all watching, and we'll see you on the next video.